1236 News Radio 700 WLW. Ken Brew for Bill Cunningham on this Wednesday afternoon. This is a pretty big deal. No, it highlights the level of talent that we have here in Cincinnati, and the level of talent we have here in Cincinnati at all levels, be it in medicine, be it in the creative arts, be it in technology. It's unparalleled for a city its size. It really is. And we hear these stories all the time about who's been honored and what they've done. And then if you dig deep and you look into the resume of these people that we talk about quite a bit here on 700 WLW, to be honest about it, the resumes are just astounding. As is the next guest that I have on the show. He has been named to Forbes magazine's annual 30 Under 30 list. He hails right here from Cincinnati, and his resume is about as diverse as you could possibly want for someone who has only lived 29 years old. 29 years old is what Paul Powers is, and he is right now, he is the founding member of a company called Physna, and we'll get into more about that as to what that's all about. But what an honor for Paul Powers to be named to the 30 Under 30 list by Forbes magazine. Paul, welcome to 700 WLW, and congratulations again.
Oh, thank you so much, Ken.
So you're the CEO of Physna. What is Physna?
Physna is short for physical DNA, so if you spell it, it makes more sense, Physna. And basically what we did was we figured out how to make computers think in 3D, essentially, so to really understand 3D models.
But yet it seems to be that intellectual property is I guess what the company's all about, protecting intellectual property.
Correct, yeah. And so the initial idea was, my background when I came out of law school, my focus was on intellectual property. I noticed that there was a big gap with intellectual property in the 3D realm, so in manufacturing. And what we decided was we needed to come up with a tech solution, so we had to be able to recognize what 3D models were. And so we built that. I met my co-founder, Glenn Warner. He's our CTO. He's the more technical of the two of us. Mm-hmm. And we essentially built up a company, went to industry saying we have this great technology that protects intellectual property for 3D models, and then people came back flooding us saying, well, we've got other applications for that too. There are all kinds of issues we didn't know existed with, three-dimensional models that computers weren't able to analyze appropriately.
Okay, so cybersecurity and 3D model comparison software. So why would a 3D model piece of software, why would that be more, I guess, advantageous to a company or an individual than what is just out there everywhere else?
So your computer is really good at understanding things in 2D, like text and images. Mm-hmm. But imagine if you went to a library and you were looking for a book. Let's say you're looking for A Tale of Two Cities. But none of the books have any titles on them. The librarian can't help you, and there's no way to find what you're looking for. You would have to either open up every book in the library or type up the book from scratch. And that sounds ridiculous, but when it comes to 3D, that's what engineers and manufacturers are dealing with quite a bit, because there's too many languages for 3D models. They don't translate very well. Understanding what a model is and the geometry is very difficult for your computer to do. So we created a series of algorithms here that interprets any 3D model that comes in. We know everything about its geometry. Mm-hmm. What is this? What's it similar to? What's in this? What's this in? How do you make this? What does this fit? Etc. And that lets engineers, manufacturers, and others who work with 3D to have the tools that we're used to using every day for text, images, etc.
Okay. Understand that. Great in layman's terms. Thanks. You're a Cincinnati guy, right?
Correct. Yeah, born and raised in Cincinnati, Ohio, homeschooled. But I went to Switzerland on a scholarship for an exchange year, ended up finishing high school there. It's a really long story, but ended up choosing a kind of a weird path and studied law at the University of Heidelberg in Germany, and lived over in Europe for about 10 years. And I
don't want to brush that off. Sure. Listen, I don't want to brush that off, Paul, because from what I understand, you are the only American to pass the German bar exam. So that would mean two things. One, you speak German fluently, and obviously you would have to take the bar exam over there. And two, the other question would be, why? Why would you want to pass the German bar exam?
That's a great question. I've been asked it many, many times. And the best way I can answer it is, if you take the same path as everyone else, don't expect to end up anywhere else. And I was going to go to MIT. I was going to study physics, and decided to go into German law. Most people can't see what the connection there is, and it's a really rough one. But I decided, if I was going to, my goal in life is to leave behind one of the footprints pointed forward in the path of human progress in some way, ideally through technology. So I can either do that by myself being a coder or a physicist, or by having a company. And I thought that by having a degree like that, I would stand out as unique enough to other companies that would have that need, especially in Germany, which is a big economy. And I'd be able to make my way into different companies, meet a lot of people, and it would give me a unique advantage in a way. An entrepreneurial setting.
Yeah, but this is just, I guess, fits the footpath that you laid down. You went to Harvard, right? Astronomy and astrophysics, right?
Yeah, I went there for a while. I didn't go through the whole program. I took astronomy and astrophysics at Harvard. I went over to Switzerland after that. Went to Munich for a year to get ready for it's like the pre-law program they make you take for if you're a foreigner. And after that, went to Heidelberg.
Right. And then so you started Physna in 2015, but before that you were with a company, an LLC called Zoozler. What is Zoozler? And apparently you're still with them, right or no?
Correct.
Yeah, what is that? What is Zoozler? Yeah, what is it?
Sure. So Zoozler is a company that helps startups with technology, ironically. And so it's a tech development company, and it mainly helps startups get started. So it builds software for them, apps, and it helps with the fundraising process in a way. And, one of the first startups we ever worked on, actually the first startup we ever worked on was, Physna. We thought, okay, look, I got this idea. Let's see if, our idea to come up with a startup program works. And essentially, we just started Physna in the back of the Zoozler office.
Yeah. Paul, has anyone ever told you you're smart?
My girlfriend would disagree with you, but
but look, I get that. I'm just saying, you go to Germany, you pass the German bar over there. I don't. Did you practice law, or do you just guys say, hey, I got it, I'm in. See you later. I'm going back to America. So did you do that? Did you practice any law in Germany?
I worked at a law firm both before passing the bar and after, and the reason I was able to get into the law firm I got into was because I was that weird American kid who was studying German law.
So you do all that, and then you come back and you're getting involved in all. I'm just looking at your resume, all these LLCs and these startups and things that are intellectual property protectors and 3D model comparison. I would guess that you're probably like itching to find your next thing right now.
No, I think that I've pretty much found what I wanted to do. I mean, I think in the case of Physna, what we're doing is it's changing the world for the better in so many ways. We've stumbled upon something amazing here, and if you look at the background of wanting to protect intellectual property and wanting to make progress in technology, and we've done both of those with Physna. So for me, it's a great feeling of accomplishment.
So when Forbes gets a hold of you and they say you're one of those 30 under 30 guys, and we put this list out every year, I mean, what was your first reaction when you hung the phone up? This is a joke? Really, Forbes? Or did you know it was coming all along?
It's a great question. Actually, it was an email, not a phone call. It was a hell of a way to start the morning. I just found out yesterday. I woke up and I got this email, and I had to read it a couple of times to make sure it was authentic. But it was a major surprise. I was not expecting it. I did get contacted by Forbes to confirm a couple of details about Physna about a month ago or so, and I found out that I was in the finalists, but I didn't know if that meant I'm 1 in a million, or I mean, who knows what that means? So I didn't really expect anything. I was excited just to be that far.
So you get this. Now what do you got to do? Go give a speech somewhere, do something like that? Because that's the roughest part about all of this. You got to stand up in front of all these other people that are bright, and you got to outwow them. So you're probably working on that right now, huh?
No, I wouldn't.
No,
There's
you're
not a
doing
big
that?
speech
No?
I have to go give in front of an audience. I would say that maybe this interview might be in the sense, kind of what that is.
Well,
it's
no,
not really a formal speech.
this would be no. What you're experiencing now is the peak of your public life. I just want to point that out to you, just being on the radio here with me. But I am just stunned, Paul. Not the fact that you were chosen for this, but I am stunned almost on a daily basis by the level of talent, young talent in this town. You know, you grew up here. Cincinnati is not a major metropolitan area. It's a city. It's a nice town. It's a city of neighborhoods. It's not New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. But I am just, particularly when it comes to the tech world and when it comes to medicine in particular, just how strong we have those kinds of things here in Cincinnati. And I'm wondering, as you travel about, I'm sure you've been out and about, and you come home to Cincinnati, you probably have to have the same reaction.
Absolutely. I was stunned when I came back from Germany how much the city had evolved in the time that I was gone. I remember when I came back, I'd been living abroad for so long, my friends called me up and said, hey, we're going to go to a bar in OTR. I had no idea what OTR was. I was like, what is that? And they said it was over the Rhine. I thought that was a joke. When I was a kid, over the Rhine wasn't what it is now. So it's really come a long way.
So if somebody called you from Heidelberg today and said, look, we need you over here, we want you to represent someone in a murder trial, could you do that?
I would be very inefficient because law moves very quickly and it evolves constantly. I'd be able to help them out, but I wouldn't. Basically, I would say this: if there's anyone listening right now who has a German legal matter, I'm not the best person to talk to because I have not looked at any of that in a long time.
You're easily the smartest guy we've had on this radio station in the last 6 months, and I couldn't vouch for the previous 6 months because I'm an old man. I can't think that far back. I really and truly congratulate you, just not on the Forbes thing, but on the companies and returning to Cincinnati and just making this from your spectrum just a much better place. And I wish you a whole lot of luck on that. And good luck. You're not going anywhere for 30 Under 30? They're not having a big banquet or anything, or like a cash bar or something like that?
There's a big event they do once a year. I think they just had it for the 2018 class a couple of months ago, so I'm guessing it'll be September, October next year.
You have to get something nice to wear. Get your wife something nice to wear. It'd be a nice weekend someplace.
Absolutely.
Paul, by the way, just in case anybody wants to connect with you, Physna, maybe there's somebody out there thinking about cybersecurity and a different way to attack that. How do they find you?
Sure. You can find me on LinkedIn. If you go to Physna.com, PHYSNA.com, you'll see some information. My email is just ppowers@Physna.com, so I'm happy to talk to anyone who's interested.
Outstanding. Again, congratulations. Paul Powers, one of the annual 30 Under 30 on Forbes magazine's list of up-and-comers. All right, Paul, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Now, that's a smart guy. That's a smart guy. I look back on my life. I mean, everybody knows what I did. I'm more of a court jester than I am anything else in life. But the fact of the matter is to have that, not just to be recognized for that. That's always good. But to be able to have that kind of accomplishment by the time you're 29, but it's pretty obvious. That's not your average Joe. I mean, if he's homeschooled and he's going to Switzerland and he winds up in Harvard studying this and that, and then he goes to Germany and passes the German bar. I mean, that's not the kind of guy you bump into in Applebee's every day. Congratulations to Paul Powers. Seems like a good kid. But then again, everybody seems like a kid to me. It's coming up on 1250 News Radio 700 WLW.